So I'm back to being solo. I mean, I knew it was going to happen, to be honest. I always thought to myself, what am I going to do with my employees over the winter? Because we don't get enough snow to keep everybody working through the winter, and I don't really do much with leaves, which is a whole nother story that we'll get into in a separate video. But because I have some plans and changes for that to come for next fall. But so I was always, that was one of my biggest concerns. One is finding and keeping, good employees. And two, what do I do over the winter? I know everyone has a lot of different perspectives and things that they do with their business that I've learned over the years through social media, all over the country. And it really all depends on the demographics and what kind of work you get and can do based on the weather and all that stuff. If you have a lot of snow, then you can do that. If you don't have a lot of snow, but it's warm enough and you're still mowing and doing things, and you can do that. But we're kind of in between, the middle of the country there. We're in that transition zone where there's not a lot of anything going on over the the winter. There's some snow, but not a lot. There's some other miscellaneous lawn care stuff, not really much mowing or any of that kind of stuff, some pruning, whatever, just just a little bit. So that's always been one of the things that I've always wondered about. So this year, it kind of just worked itself out. I never really had a full battle-proof plan for the winter, but it just kind of worked out that the employees that I hired, I knew that they were going to be leaving around the winter season anyway. So I just kind of anticipated that, but at the same time, things did happen a little differently than I wanted them to play out, and I ended up solo sooner than I wanted to be. So it definitely was a struggle at times, but it is what it is. I mean, I went 5 years really, being solo, so it's not like I don't know what to do. It's just I started building my business up to the point where it's really hard to manage solo, which is why I started hiring employees. That was always the plan. And I'm going to continue doing that next year. But back to the drawing board. I have to, start from scratch basically, but I learned a lot of things. Some I've shared, on here, but there's definitely a lot of takeaways that I gained from this experience with employees, and then again without being solo and going back to being solo. I learned ways to be more efficient, like, oh man, if I had someone doing this or a bunch of people doing this, then we can do this faster or do that better. And, just the wheels are always spinning, when I'm by myself. It's definitely peaceful, and, you can kind of get in your own groove, but it's definitely not as efficient in a lot of different scenarios as it would be when you have employees. So just different things that I was able to learn. So there's a lot of benefit to being solo again, and how to refocus some things for next year. So when I do have employees, we can do things a little bit better, a little more efficient. So, it's all good. It's all good stuff. It's definitely good to be solo, but at the same time, good to start planning and refocusing for next year and starting over, bigger and better with new employees, and keep growing my business.